Good evening on this Friday evening, and I'd like to address, this is my mother, 87-year-old mother, had heart surgery, is paralyzed from the waist down, got fibromyalgia, can hardly see, hip broken in an old age home where she was before, and had 2 blood transfusions that saved her life. Now I want to address this to straight now because I think the game is over and a lot of people are talking. Why are we talking? Well, we can't just get up guns and go start a civil war, man. That's not going to work. But I'm going to address this to Ramaphosa, Zol Zuma, and Cele, aka Chuck Norris, my big friend Chucky. Do you know of the rise of mental illness in this country? The depression, the anxiety, the stress at home, the stress of the fathers and mothers who've lost their jobs, the stress of not being able to put food on the table, the stress of not being able to buy their kids just the normal things that they should be bought. This gentleman sitting here is one of my mother's carers. Now, if you take note, he's a colored man. He's taking care of a white woman. So these people who want to go and say the racism in this country and people that are looking at each other and saying, you know, how can you be with a colored man, or how can you be with a black man, or how can you be with a white man, etc. Get a life, man. Because what is happening in this country today is Chucky, Cele, Ramaphosa the Frogman, and Zol Zuma are destroying the people. Look at this 87-year-old. I'm going to send this to you on your website. Now, I don't know if your website works because your government doesn't work. So maybe your website works. I don't know if it does work. This 87-year-old woman is protected. When last have you walked into an old age home, a government old age home, or a private old age home, and gone to see the way our elderly are treated? Go see how the elderly are treated. And then on another point, you know, Cele, a disgrace for a minister of police. Chucky, you should be minister of the Bambino creche. But then I think you wouldn't make it there because you can't be incompetent looking after children. The big part of it is the disabled. What is happening to our disabled? What rights do our disabled have? What rights can our disabled go out? Some of them are in a wheelchair, and I've got a lot of friends in a wheelchair or wheelchairs, and all they do is enjoy their cigarettes. So I provide them cigarettes. Did you get that, Chucky? I provide them on a humanitarian basis cigarettes. Because the problem in the country is the industry that I work in, the drug industry. There is easier to buy drugs, and I'm talking about tuck, heroin, cat, you name it, than it is to buy cigarettes. More and more people are getting drugged, and more people are getting addicted. There'll be less money to send them to rehabilitation because your government rehabs of 6 months are a complete and utter waste. 6 months you can't do nothing in 6 months. So when we think of it, where's the rights of the disabled? The Freedom Charter clearly says it. None sexist, none racist, none this. Tear that Freedom Charter up, man. Tear the legacy of Mandela up, man. The legacy of Mandela is long gone. Because you criminals, because you piss a man off, man. That's Friday evening. But you criminals waited for Mandela to die, man. And then spent 180 million on his funeral. What were you betting? God? You waited for Mandela to die so you can all start your little gravy train theft. Last point I'd like to make is that your little ANC is going to investigate ANC. Is not only so pathetic, it's, you know why? You won't get an independent person like Cele to investigate, or an ex-judge or the chief judge of the Constitutional Court, because you'll all be caught. And you know what happened? There'd be no cabinet and no government. That's the problem. So Chucky, go look after our farmers. Go look after our children taking drugs. Zuma, you An old lady, you should have been long gone out of the cabinet. You should have been retired, pension, gone. You got enough money. You got 160 million. Go to the old age homes, man. Go to the old age homes and see what's happening to our elderly. And see what is happening to the disabled people of this country. You people must remember one day, we live on this earth. I'm not giving you a lecture. I'm telling you, man. I'd like one of you assholes to challenge me in a court of law. I'd love one. I won't come there with advocates. I'll come there with myself. Because what I'm saying cannot be disputed. All lives matter, man. All South African lives matter. This young man's lives matter. I've given more employment and get more employment for people who come through my center than the Department of Labor. You people are a disgrace, man. But remember this, and I'm going to say it very slowly, because I know that you're not the brightest sparks in the box there in cabinet. One day you're going to face a maker. And by God, are you going to answer? I'm going to answer too. Make sure you're right, because you're nothing short of evil. God bless you, and thank you, Angus. Thank you, Mom.